Welcome to this explainer. Okay, think about this for a second. Think about the sheer amount of time, energy, and money society pours into physical appearance. I mean, the beauty industry alone is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But what if the data suggests our mindset is actually our most powerful social asset? Today, we're exploring the psychology of irresistible confidence, and we're going to unpack the actual science behind why the way you carry yourself through the world matters so much more than you might realize. So, why does a confident attitude actually beat a perfect face? It's a question that totally challenges almost everything we naturally assume about physical attraction. We're constantly bombarded with messages insisting that a flawless, symmetrical look is the ultimate key to drawing people in. Yet, psychological research consistently points in a completely different direction. We're going to deconstruct exactly why the human brain is literally hardwired to find confidence so incredibly magnetic, and how understanding this completely changes the rules of social dynamics. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the power of vibe. Picture this. We've all witnessed this everyday scenario, right? You're at a crowded networking event or a busy party. Someone walks in. Now, they aren't a runway model, they don't have perfectly tailored clothes or that flawless cinematic lighting following them around. But the absolute second they step foot in the room, the whole atmosphere shifts. They instantly captivate everyone's attention. Usually, we just shrug and say something like, man, they just have a great vibe, or they've really got that invisible it factor. But psychologists actually have a concrete term for this whole shebang. They call it the attractiveness of confidence. It's a highly observable, measurable phenomenon where someone just commands a space entirely through their grounded attitude and presence, completely overriding basic physical metrics. Moving right along to Section 2, confidence as a shortcut. To really understand why this happens, we kind of have to look at evolutionary psychology. The reality is, our brains are, well, they're fundamentally lazy. They suffer from high cognitive load and are constantly seeking out mental shortcuts to process the complex world around us. Confidence is completely irresistible because it acts as one of the most powerful mental shortcuts in human interaction. When you meet someone for the first time, you obviously can't instantly download their resume, their life history, or figure out their moral compass. But when a person projects genuine, relaxed confidence, it acts like a massive billboard, signaling to others that they possess hidden, highly desirable traits. We're talking traits like deep competence, relentless drive, and high social status. Subconsciously, our brains make this lightning-fast calculation. If this person feels this secure and knows themselves this well, they must have a really high actual value as a partner or a collaborator. It's basically nature's highly efficient way of rapidly assessing someone's underlying worth based on how comfortably they present themselves to the world. Which brings us to Section 3, the halo effect explained. This is the invisible psychological engine powering this entire dynamic, the halo effect. Now, this is a powerful cognitive bias where witnessing just one overwhelmingly positive trait, like rock-solid confidence, makes us automatically assume a whole host of other amazing things about that person. Because they carry themselves with such assurance, our brains literally trick us into assuming they're also highly intelligent, remarkably successful, and incredibly friendly. It creates this massive positive feedback loop for your entire personality. Think about it. If a nervous person trips over their shoelaces, we might think, oh, they're clumsy. But thanks to the halo effect, if a deeply confident person trips over their shoelaces, our brains instantly reframe it as endearingly quirky. You show one great, confident trait, and the world grants you this glowing halo that brightens everything else you do. All right, Section 4, the overconfidence strategy. Now, let's explore what happens in highly specific competitive environments, like a crowded bar. Imagine a loud, busy scene where everyone is vying for attention. You might naturally think that arrogance would be universally disliked and completely backfire, right? But researchers have found a fascinating twist here. In these hyper-competitive, high-stakes settings, overconfident people surprisingly win out in the short term, projecting a mix of supreme, almost exaggerated confidence with just a hint of arrogance acts as a super aggressive strategic mechanism. In a room full of noise, it serves as a massive dominance signal that deters rivals and literally clears the playing field. Yeah, I don't want to compete with them. That right there captures the exact internal monologue of a potential rival in that crowded room. Overconfidence acts as an incredibly powerful psychological deterrent. When a rival spots someone exuding that intense, unshakable, almost arrogant level of self-assurance, their brain does the math. They realize it's simply too much effort and way too much social risk to engage. So what do? They back down,
The rival walks away, leaving the target entirely alone with the overconfident person. It's a fascinating, albeit pretty aggressive, social strategy that exploits our natural aversion to high-effort conflict.
And finally, bringing it all together in Section 5, mastering your inner game. Look, there's a profound difference between short-term tactics and long-term magnetism. Overconfidence mixed with arrogance might successfully deter rivals in a loud room, but let's be honest, that exact same arrogance can be incredibly off-putting to the very person you're actually trying to attract. It's a defensive shield, not a welcoming door. Now, contrast that approach with pairing confidence and genuine kindness. This is the absolute sweet spot. While arrogance might aggressively clear the field, true, lasting magnetism requires self-assuredness without the ego. When you combine the grounded security of confidence with the warmth of kindness, it becomes the ultimate attraction multiplier. And this brilliantly illustrates that point. There was this fascinating psychological study that revealed exactly how powerful this multiplier effect really is. Researchers showed participants an attractive photo of a woman and asked them to read her. Simple enough. Then, they showed that exact same photo to another group, but this time, they paired it with a description of a highly positive, kind personality. Her ratings absolutely skyrocketed. Participants didn't just rate her as having a better personality. Because of that positive, kind description, their brains literally rewired what they saw. They actually rated her as being significantly more successful, far more intelligent, and, amazingly, much more physically attractive than the group who only saw the photo. Think about that for a second. Adding kindness and character literally alters and elevates the visual perception of physical beauty. So what is the ultimate takeaway from all this research? Well, it's quite simple. Your inner game is your absolute strongest asset. Building your mindset, cultivating genuine self-belief, and coupling that foundation with a warm, positive personality is scientifically proven to yield far better results than endlessly obsessing over your outward look. The psychology of attraction isn't about perfectly applied makeup or an expensive wardrobe. It's fundamentally an inside-out process. So I have to ask, are you spending more time fixing your look or building your inner game? It's incredibly easy to get caught up staring in the mirror, but the science is crystal clear on this one. If you truly want to turn heads and possess that undeniable magnetic vibe, your time is significantly better spent mastering the psychology of genuine confidence. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep focusing on that inner game, and I'll catch you in the next one.